The petite girl went by the name Icon, even though this was not the moniker her mother had blessed her with 18 years ago, and even though she was quiet, introverted, and basically not the type who you would think would choose such a bold pseudonym for herself. For years, Icon had been fascinated by the idea of one day becoming a cinematographer and a film director. Today, she sat on the beach at Santa Monica and stared out at the ocean. She had been doing it all day. It was a research project. Hi, I'm Neil A. Yeager, and today I'm reading from my novel, Non-Hollywood. Be sure to check the video's descriptions for links to this book and other books I've written. This is Chapter 3, Shadows in Short Film. Before her was a small digital camera on a cheap tripod, which was facing out at the ocean. On her right was another camera, but it faced northward up the coast. On her left, a camera facing southward down the beach. And behind her was a camera facing back toward the cliffs upon which sat the city of Santa Monica. She popped a few antacids in her mouth. Her stomach was constantly burning, and glanced at her watch. 1:15. Icon stood, then walked from one camera to the next, snapping a single photo with each camera. She had started this little ritual just before dawn, and it was her intention to keep going until sundown, snapping a series of photos every 15 minutes. Her aim was simple. She wanted to see where the shadows fell at certain times of the day. She hoped that this would allow her to choose the perfect time of day for her shots. For the past few months, she had been working on a short film for one of her classes. While many of her fellow film students were writing and shooting what amounted to little one-act plays, she had chosen to make her film based on imagery. Though she recognized the importance of being able to work with actors, she also felt that a skill which many beginning filmmakers lacked was the ability to convey emotion just by how a shot was composed and filmed. As she sat back down in the sand, she picked up her headphones, slipped them over her ears. She'd been listening to instrumental pieces that she might use for her short film. Now, she had pretty much settled on Night Waters, a chill synth and strings tune by The Dolphin Mantra, which seemed to have the right feel for this project. Aside from the fact that she felt that this group's music would go really well with the imagery she was shooting, it also felt quite appropriate that the music she listened to at the beach would be by a band called The Dolphin Mantra. Icon had titled her short film project Thoughts and Feelings. The idea was that she would pick several emotional concepts and devise a quick scene for each. She had chosen 10 concepts and had already shot 7 of them. The concept which brought her to the beach was eternity. This scene would feature several shots of ocean waves, which would dissolve into a starry sky at night, footage which she planned to shoot out in the desert at Joshua Tree National Park. For today, she would simply sit here on the beach, photographing shadows on the ocean. This was her idea of eternity.